This is Comic Fix by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason, what's going on? What do you have for us today?
Well, today is something that I've been preparing to talk about for a while. Like ever since it was announced, ever since they started publishing the actual comics, and especially since they finally started putting out the first couple of trade paperbacks. I'm talking about the absolute DC universe, which it took DC a while. Like we're talking like 20 years and two iterations of it, but DC has finally given us their version of like the Ultimate Marvel universe. Now, to reiterate, Ultimate Marvel was like an imprint that Marvel did back in the turn of the millennium, basically reimagined a lot of all the Marvel characters they could, as if they had been created in the present day of that era. It was really great and gave us a lot of entertaining comics. None more so than Ultimate Spider-Man, written and illustrated by Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley, for a good long while, but and also eventually gave us Miles Morales. It's like that series, that imprint was fantastic. I bought just about everything that was associated with it, and it was great up until it basically just succumbed to just hey, it was no longer just a bright shiny new thing, but just hey, it's like just another superhero universe where things are just done a little bit differently than the mainstream one. And eventually the best parts of it were folded into the Marvel universe following Secret Wars. Well, the Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars. But then they went and did a new iteration of it that has been deeply mixed as far as I'm concerned, aside from the current iteration of Ultimate Spider-Man. But I'll get to that in a separate podcast. DC, however, well, perhaps not wanting to be seen as be reactive to like Marvel reimagining their characters that they have been created in the present day, didn't actually do their own version of Ultimate DC. It's like at the time. Eventually, what they did do was something that was analogous, but not really the same thing. That was like the All-Star line of comics. And while that did give us the all-time classic that is All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely, it also gave us the still unfinished All-Star Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder by Frank Miller and Jim Lee, which I think is it's at least entertaining, but whatever plans they had for it, basically just kind of evaporated in the face of just slowly declining sales, scheduling issues. It's and just critical critical derision as well. We'll never see what Miller and Lee had planned for it, but the first volume is still is available in paperback, so you can just read that and be done with it. But then the years went by, DC didn't bother. Well, they also did the Earth One series of graphic novels, which was them trying to do hey, more ground zero reimaginings of the characters, but that eventually just fizzled out after a certain point. I do recommend hey, coincidentally Wonder Woman Earth One by Grant Morrison and Yannick Paquette. Be sure to get the all-in-one edition, because that's a story that basically needs to be read in one go in order to properly appreciated. And that eventually takes us to the present day, and DC finally doing a reimagining of their characters in the present day, from the ground up. That's in the absolute universe. Now there is continuity associated with this, because it does follow on from the events of Absolute Power. It's and the reestablishment of a new Justice League, and it's and Darkseid, basically just like trying to find a way to escape the fate that's been created for him, and being defeated by the Justice League, and then allowing himself to be reborn in the alternate universe that was created in the wake of it's like of Dark Knight's death metal. It's like now I hear you say that, and it's like, oh man, it's DC like complicating stuff with like a lot of like unnecessary continuity, but you don't need to know that. It's like I'm just saying this because like I'm a nerd for this kind of stuff. All you need to know is that absolute DC is basically like it's a universe like that basically founded on like Darkseid's like evil influence, and that has made all the heroes within it like underdogs. Basically, like they've been stripped of their it's like their great advantages, like their support systems, and now they're basically trying to change the world, trying to make it better, without like a lot of the advantages that they've got. It's like so basically, like absolute Batman. Well, he's not a billionaire. He doesn't have like unlimited resources. He's just like a it's like a freelance contractor working for Gotham City, but he's like using like whatever like resources he has at hand, and that he can like obtain from fighting the good fight in order to like better his crusade and make like make make a better Gotham. Like Wonder Woman, well, it's like she's not like all the Amazons have basically been um it's like enslaved by Zeus, and she herself has been entrusted to the witch Circe, who is like been consigned to the underworld, hell specifically. So she's basically being raised there as a witch, but also been entrusted with like defending like our world from any extraordinary threats posed by the gods. Superman, well, it's like it's like his origin is kind of unchanged in the sense that that um that he was sent here. Well, he wasn't really sent to Earth, but he and his dead Jor-El was predicting the demise of Krypton. But the thing is, like there's like the haves and the have-nots on this version of Krypton, and while there's like the science elite in like on the planet, Jor-El was not part of that. He was part of like the rural like it's like Hick minor like subclass. It's like, and he was like determined to like to try and like like let everyone know about the like the problems facing Krypton, but he was ignored, and now he was forced to like build his own like spacecraft in order to like save as many people as he could. Kal-El was it's like and his Kal-El, like his son and his wife were saved, but they were like like separated in the like in the big exodus from Krypton after it was destroyed, and now he's just like alone. It's like a lone young adult on it's like on Earth with only his like a Kryptonian AI computer like to help, and his faithful dog Crypto to help him like fight the good fight like from there. This is like this is like a universe where everyone's an underdog, like or the heroes are underdogs, and they're fighting and they're trying to like be heroes. It's like in this face of like like unassailable odds. And DC has thrown a lot of quality talent like at these titles. Scott Snyder is writing Absolute Batman with art from Nick Dragotta. Kelly Thompson is doing Wonder Woman with art from Hayden Sherman, but also with Mattia De Luis, like illustrating a 2-issue arc in the first volume, and Jason Aaron writing Superman, but with Rafa Sandoval handling most of the art in the first volume. I mean, with that level of talent, it's like you're not going to get like bad superhero comics. It's like that's for sure. Even regardless of what I've said about like some of these people in the past, it's like I think that these are definitely like really solid superhero comics. And if you like that kind of stuff, then yeah, it's like they'll definitely be worth your time. My my main issue with the absolute titles so far is that we're not getting anything that feels, really new or paradigm shifting. I mean, that, hey, like, sure, you stack the odds against Batman that much further. But that just means, he's just gonna, fight back, that much harder. It's like in order to win. Same with Wonder Woman. Same with Superman. It's like, I mean, yeah, it's like it is nice to see them, hey, like on it's like on the back foot here and just, like you utilizing like more of their own like innate strengths and their own cleverness in order to like triumph over the odds like fate forced against them. But I can't say that, like the way they do this is is really like, imaginative or or surprising or just like makes you go, hey, I haven't really seen that before. But to get into things individually, it's like, All Star Batman, is entertaining, and if nothing else, it shows that hey, Scott Snyder is really good at writing Batman, and I like a lot of the changes that he does to the character here. Because, well, hey, if Batman's not a billionaire, then hey, how do you figure in Alfred here? Well, Alfred is like some like extrajudicial operative working for an unknown like force that is like like that has been he's been sent to Gotham to observe what's the chaos that's happening there, because it's being menaced by this like gang called the Party Animals, overseen by this guy Black Mask, Roman Sionis. And yeah, it's like, hey, it's definitely a choice to have Black Mask be the definitely a B-list Batman villain at best, be the like villain of the first arc. But I think that's a smart choice on Snyder's part, because hey, it's like don't want to like lead off with like like the it's like your A-list material here. And yeah, the Joker is name checked here, but and he's set up to be something like potentially like I don't want to say more interesting, but like a new take on the like on the familiar character. But this is all about just establishing Batman as a grounded street level like vigilante. And yeah, he's got like lots of resources available to him, like as through his through his like work as a contractor and through his like childhood friend network of childhood friends, like like a boxer wait it's like Boxer Whalen, like formerly known as like Killer Croc, um, like Apprentice DA, Harvey Dent, guy who has like who maybe like have some atypical business interests, Oswald Cobblepot, like smartass genius, Edward Nigma, and Selena Kyle, who was like a good childhood friend to him, but she's been kind of missing in action in the present day. So, but interestingly, like the first issue is more or less about just like it's from Alfred's perspective, as he's just observing this new force fighting against the it's like the party animals. It's like as they try and bring chaos to the city. It's like and the it's like in the first arc is more or less about just like Bruce just trying to trying to bring order to the city, and fight back against this specific force that has decided to to try and like burn it down from the inside. It's like it's good stuff, and it shows that that Snyder does know how to write a good Batman. But like, is it anything like new for the superhero genre? No. I mean, like, and yeah, there could be like like more interesting stuff coming down the pipeline, because like like Bruce and Alfred's like relationship is definitely like a lot different here. And we're also told like at the very end, the next villain of the next arc is going to be Bane. So I'm curious to see where that's going, and also just like where they're going to go with like Bruce's network of friends, given that hey, we know how they are in the mainstream universe, so we'll still see how that goes. I'm interested in seeing in seeing it, but I wouldn't say that like you know chomping at the bit to do this. And something that's I think is worth mentioning. All three of these volumes were offered in simultaneously in hardcover and paperback. I opted for paperback. Make of that what you will. But of these three, only one of them is a certified Eisner winner for best new series, and that is Absolute Wonder Woman from Thompson and Sherman and Day Lewis. It's like I mean, her like this. This is probably like like the most arguably like the most oppressive of the bunch, just given the fact that like Wonder Woman starts off in hell and then like comes to our world in order to like fight against it, because that's what she knows like the Amazons are supposed to do, but the gods have enslaved them, Zeus specifically, and now she is like the last of them, and like and she's like determined like like fulfill her duty, and it includes like saving like the world, like from the just from the like from the initial like onslaught of monsters, and then the big bad kaiju known as the Tetracide, and like that's how, and she has to like like impose her will on the military, and not just and just just basically telling them that, hey, like this is like all the things that this thing's going to do, and I've got to like find a way to like make sure that everyone like doesn't succumb to it. And she has to make some like extreme choices, like deafening the entire city so that it doesn't hear its evil siren song that will cause death of fear and death of the mind, that will like cause everyone to like charge forward to it, and out of like 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 a like if they're like thinking that this is like the thing that they want and all. So and also like her friend like Steve Trevor, who did show up like in hell, and like was the first like man she's ever seen, and and like they do strike up like not really a relationship, but just a friendship, and she recognizes him that as a hero of mankind, but also take to the point where she makes a great sacrifice in order to bring him back to the realm of the living. Now, we all know that Stu Trevor is like a good guy from the comics and from the movies as well. But I'm honestly kind of wondering if like the fact that Steve Trevor wind up in hell is it's like if we're meant to think that, oh, hey, wait a second, isn't there a reason that he wound up there? And Diana, it's like she doesn't think much of it, because hey, she wound up in hell, but she that she didn't deserve it. I mean, like Apollo just delivered her to a Circe. It's like she was delivered there because she was a bad person. Steve, well, I mean, like he gives every indication in this volume of being a good guy, but I'm just kind of wondering if like Thompson's just like waiting for us to like have the other shoe drop there. But this first volume is just all about establishing Wonder Woman's like badass credentials, and it does that like in a pretty solid fashion, giving her like a gigantic sword that is the envy of any JRPG hero, and multiple lassos like that allow her to like face any like any threat that avails her. And also like the final 2-issue arc that puts her face to face against Hades, for the crime of escaping hell, and her like like demonstrating some some real cleverness in terms of like like addressing the like the challenges that he puts forth to her. It's good stuff, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where things go from here. Whether or not like Trevor turns out to be like a good guy or like a complete villain. We'll see how that goes. And then you've got Superman, which is also like pretty solid, but it's also the arguably the most dramatic in terms of like pitting the hero against like new challenges, because this is a guy who originally, it's like as I said before, he's part of the Kryptonian underclass, so he understands like what it means to be like oppressed just because of where you're born, or just and like how there's a ruling class that determines how you're supposed to live and all. So when he like helps a bunch of it's like poor miners fight back against their cruel overlord oppressors in the form of the Lazarus Corporation. It's like, yeah, it's like that makes a certain amount of sense. And Aaron's extra sensibilities also feel a little bit reined in here. At least they feel more like of a piece with the stories that he's telling here, and that's definitely reassuring. It's like, and like I appreciate that it feels that it's a little bit different from what we usually get from him. But this is basically like very much probably like the most underdog story of the three, just because how much it establishes like Superman is fighting for the underprivileged, and actually just fighting back directly against the bad upper classes, embodied by the Lazarus Corporation, who've also got a specific employee working for them that is committed to the cause, and that is one Lois Lane. And it's cute to see how Aaron ties Lane's like uh instincts from what we know of her into this. It's into this new version of it. So and she's very much in the hey, I've given a job to bring you in, but wait a second, the more I learn about you, the more I realize that you're actually you might be fighting the good fight here. That's who's fighting the good fight against Lazarus' army of peacekeeper, private enforcers. And yes, there is one peacekeeper by the name of Christopher Smith, who does some really bad stuff here, but he's also just kind of freaked out about it. But the thing is when he goes to try to tell them no, I actually did want to shoot these people, the Lazarus is personal health algorithm led by Brainiac just basically tells him, nah, it's fine, you were you these people had it coming, you did the right thing. So yeah, it's interesting seeing the stuff like that here. And while we all know that Brainiac is is a proper Superman villain, I'm honestly kind of wondering if this is actually Lex Luthor. It's like their version of Lex Luthor, because while other villains in the other Absolute titles, like I said, Joker's mentioned in Absolute Batman, but also Barbara Ann Minerva, Cheetah in Wonder Woman mythos, and Veronica Cale, her analog to Lex Luthor, are also present in Absolute Wonder Woman. We don't get a lot of specific Batman villains, Superman villains in Absolute Superman. So I'm kind of wondering if Aaron has decided to make Luthor and Brainiac into one, a super villain who's just too. It's someone who's just can see all the angles and just has a reason to hate Superman for what he's doing. I could be wrong, but we'll see how that turns out. That being said, though, the actual villain that Superman is fighting against, well, it's definitely something different. I probably would have been more surprised by it if some of the above the board headlines hadn't mentioned this guy in relation to the absolute DC stuff. So it's when they finally revealed him at the end of the first volume, I thought, oh, okay, well this makes sense. And chances are it's given that hey, this is the Lazarus Corporation, you may already have an idea. It's who the big bad like that Superman is fighting against in the first place is. That being said, though, this is definitely an interesting choice to retcon as a Superman like villain, and I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. In fact, yeah, I really am looking forward to seeing where these things go from here. Because even if they don't, like really offer any like genuine surprises or just go what make me go whoa. I was still entertained and intrigued by like the changes they made, and I want to see the development that these titles are going to go for here because they clearly have plans and they're clearly writer driven like in this regard. So I really want to see where things are going. Maybe I'm less enthusiastic about the next round of like absolute DC titles to the point where it's like, yeah, I do want to see what Al Ewing does with Absolute Green Lantern. He's and his like reinvention of like the DC cosmic universe from the ground up. That sounds awesome. Denise Camp doing like a Martian Manhunter miniseries. You know, I did not like 20th Century Men. I liked it's like Children of the Vault from Marvel. I was less than impressed with his take on the Ultimates so far, but maybe like this Martian Manhunter series will be the one that maybe wins me over. And Absolute Flash, well, it's written by Jeff Lemire, who I've given plenty of chances in the past. So unless like it's been revealed that I need to like start reading this series, I'm not gonna. So there you go. But Absolute DC. I mean, this first round of titles, like I said, it's good superhero stuff, but it's not like like best of the best or just like like hey like the future of the genre, like as far as I'm concerned. And maybe this is coming from someone who's like who has already been through like one, well two like ground up reinventions from the other like from the other like major superhero publisher, but or maybe there's like I'm just getting too old for this shit. But still, it's like it's good superhero comics, and there's nothing wrong with that. And kudos for DC for just not saying that hey we need to buy these in like hardcover from the jump, because otherwise you would have gotten this podcast probably about 6 months later. So there you go. Absolute DC, definitely not bad, but I don't know. It's like I can't say it's something I would say it is that you need to run out and buy right now. Now, we'll see how that goes.
All right. Well, hey, I mean, maybe something will develop out of it. I don't know. But all right then. Do you know what you're going to be talking about next time?
I don't know. It's like I may just have to like make a wild pick here. I could, or maybe I'll just like maybe make the plunge and buy the final volume of Cobra from Amazon and like talk about one guy's efforts to like do his own like version of Suicide Squad, without DC's permission. So, but hey, like it'll be a surprise. Hey,
Hey, surprise. Well, that sounds good because, there's always something new. All right. We'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Click.
laters everyone.